Imagine a naval arms race, but instead of superpowers, it's between a country's entire navy and a group of, well, let's call them freelance maritime engineers. And their weapon of choice wasn't a missile, but a vessel designed for one thing: to vanish. This is the story of how Colombia's narcotics syndicates didn't just run drugs. They launched a literal submarine fleet, out-innovating the coast guards and navies hunting them for years. I'm Abnul J. Farabi, and this is Underworld Kings, The Rise and Fall. Picture the vast, empty stretch of the Pacific Ocean, 1,000 miles from any coast. For decades, this was the highway for go-fast boats, speedboats crammed with cocaine, easy prey for radar and patrols. The cartels needed a new solution, something that could carry 10, 20 tons of product and slip through the net unseen. And they found it not in a secret lab, but in the jungles of Colombia's coastline, where a unique breed of narco-engineer went to work. These weren't your Hollywood nuclear subs. The locals called them narcosubmarinos, or big mouths, for their distinctive hull shape. They were crude, dangerous, and brilliant. Built in makeshift jungle shipyards from fiberglass and wood, they were fully submersible, riding just below the ocean's surface with only a thin snorkel for air. They had no toilets, no real bunks, and were steered by GPS. The crews, often poor fishermen paid a small fortune, would endure a hellish, weeks-long journey, breathing in diesel fumes, knowing that a single leak or wave could turn their metal coffin into a tomb. This was the desperate, human machinery of the trade. And for a long, terrifying while, it worked spectacularly. A fully loaded narco-submarino could move a cargo worth over $100 million wholesale. To the radar of a patrol plane or a frigate, it presented a signature no bigger than a dolphin. They were ghosts. The Colombian and U.S. navies were chasing shadows across an ocean. The engineers kept iterating, too. They developed semi-submersibles that were even harder to spot, and later, true submarines built in professional-grade workshops. This was an ongoing R&D project, funded by virtually limitless cocaine profits. The tide only began to turn with a massive, coordinated intelligence effort. It wasn't just about more patrols. It was about following the money, intercepting communications, and raiding those jungle shipyards. The breakthrough often came on land, not at sea. Authorities would get a tip, swarm a warehouse, and find a nearly completed sub in the middle of the forest, a surreal monument to criminal ingenuity. Each seizure was a setback, but the business model was so profitable, the demand so insatiable, that it remained a game of whack-a-mole. As an engineer myself, I'm struck by the dark ingenuity here. It's a perverse testament to human problem-solving. These builders took known principles of naval architecture and, with brutal practicality, stripped away everything non-essential: comfort, safety, even legality, to create a tool perfectly optimized for a single, illegal function. They identified a weakness in a system and engineered around it, under constant pressure, with staggering resources. It's innovation, completely divorced from ethics, a reminder that technology is never inherently good or bad. It's about the hands that wield it. The cocaine submarine fleet represents one of the most audacious logistical chapters in the history of organized crime. It was a silent, slow-moving, and for years, devastatingly effective end run around the world's most powerful militaries. It turned the ocean's immensity into a cloak and proved that when the reward is astronomical, the risks, both engineering and human, will always find someone willing to take them. For Light Knot Studios, I'm Abnul J. Farabi. You can find more episodes of Underworld Kings at https://www.lightknotstudios.com.